we have Barbry and Cristina over here.
Make it fun.
Exactly. And then for table 2, we have all the financial and planning. This is the topics. All right. Table 3, we have, this is a great group of services, Workday ventures, industries. Table 3. And here over at table 4, the people who are going to be talking about technology, analytics, and Workday Cloud Platform are Pete, David, and John. Okay, so because we have a great big group, the executives are actually going to rotate. We're going to do this for 15 minutes.
Oh, we rotate?
At 15-minute time, we're going to rotate the executives. So table 1 executives are going to go to table 2. Table 2 executives are going to go to table 3. Table 3 executives are going to go to table 4. And Pete, John, and David are going to go to table 1. Does that make sense? Thank you again. I appreciate that. All right, so we are going to start. And do I have somebody?
I'm taking time.
Okay.
Ready, set, go.
Ready, set, go. Talk amongst yourselves.
All right. What do you want to know?
What for Workday is?
That's really
Very
fast.
open question.
Yeah. What was the question?
I really enjoyed your presentations. Also, all of our comments were wonderful. As the tenor of your customer questions and their requirements and expectations changed over the last couple of years from what they were before.
I'd say so. I think they want more machine learning now. I think now that they got the foundation in, it's about how do we do more with the data? How do we do more predictive insights? How do we leverage machine learning more? And then also more on the chatbots becoming very, very popular. They really want to do a lot of the manager self-service and employee self-service chatbots.
I would say more and more they want to provide an experience that's personalized for their people. So we hear about that a lot. I mean, the experience, the bar has been raised for expectations, and so we hear more about getting to a more personalized spot. And really, that's where machine learning comes into play, right? We have the rich data using machine learning to personalize wherever we can. When you hear about the experience, that's certainly one way that we're doing it.
And would there be a version of voice interface of the chatbots in the near future?
Yes, voice and obviously the text is what we're working on right now, but voice as well.
Maybe next year?
Definitely next year.
Next year. So
And I
is
don't
there a name of the Workday assistant just like Alexa?
No, we just call it Workday Assistant.
Workday assistant.
That's, I know it's just we should have one syllable, right? Don't you think? We thought about Dave, and then we thought about Emil.
Yeah, but you don't want it to say Dave's not here. So does the Workday Assistant integrate with Siri or Google or Alexa, or is it completely separate?
I know that was bothering me. Thank you for doing that. It does integrate with other bots, and it can integrate with Alexa, and it can integrate with those other.
I mean, now you've got Siri shortcuts, which can dig deeper into other applications. I mean, you could ask Siri to get some information from Workday Assistant when you're not inside the Workday Assistant app, I'm assuming. But when you're in the Workday Assistant app, then you're talking to the Workday Assistant.
The security and the data privacy, those are the key parts, right? So we do have that partnership with Slack already, where you can issue Workday Assistant commands within the Slack channel and it will return the same information as if you were in Workday. But we're working on a lot that we call it part of our omni-channel, so that we can start in any channel, end in any channel, and it can be a voice channel, it can be a text channel, it can be a messaging channel, it can be a text with a phone. So across the board.
Well, it shouldn't matter which way you interact,
Exactly.
just as long as you get the information.
Right.
I mean, I have seen there's a company called Era, and they pull all this data in, and you can talk to their assistant and ask it questions like, how can I save some money this month? And the chatbot will, or, the voice assistant will say, well, if you ship those units from Brazil over to London and sell them for 20% off, you'll make a profit.
Yes.
And I thought, wow, well, we're starting to see that in business, and this is the second company that I'm actually seeing this sort of technology being rolled out, which is
Yes.
about time.
Absolutely, and then the combining of the knowledge bots with the transactional bots all in one are really, really key. Did you share that? Did you have time here?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Really good.
But it's a video,
Yeah.
so it's more.
The customer that you had, I'm just blanking on, it wasn't PwC, it was,
Roche. Yes.
yeah, she really got into the discussion about almost like the excitement that was coming out of the employees. Like, I finally recognize, I finally have a chance to be heard. That was one of the things I guess I was getting at about that question of how things have changed. You've also, a few of your texts talked about the technology and business innovation intersections. So much is going on here. So you have a chance to really be a part of multiple transformations, right? Business, career, lots of things.
Yeah, development, all of those things, right? I think ultimately the way we work has changed, right? So organizations are changing to adapt to that, whether it's for their people practices, their business practices, all of those things are combined. They really, one of the things I talked about today, right? The boundaries dissolve, right? Across all the different things that we're talking about. So being able to provide those experiences is really important, and they are, our customers are transforming across all those different things. And so we're doing our best to partner with them, and hopefully lead the way.
These changes have sort of pushed it past these, I think she described one point the little HR silos, fragments to a much larger business orientation for the company and that individual career builder for the
Absolutely.
employees.
And it's that insight throughout that they now have because they're harnessing the power of their data that they haven't been able to do.
And I like how you touched upon the employee empowerment. It's really about their career and allowing the employees to kind of express and that's where the people experience and the journey comes in. We want to really provide kind of a career GPS, a career caddy to help the employees with setting their destination and then being able to get to their destination and then using all of the learning and all those key capabilities and the mentors and the connections all around that.
Everybody will have their own film episode.
That's right. And if you don't, you have your Workday in your phone, and it's your caddy.
Your career caddy.
And you should see how your golf game improves.
Now, I would imagine most of the journalists here are more knowledgeable on the topic than I am, but I only heard about human capital management this year. What's the definition of human resources and human capital management? Aren't they the same thing?
I think one's a broader category, I guess, than human resources.
Yeah, so
Instead of human capital management.
I would say sometimes the terms are used interchangeably. I think human resources is more an older school term, if you think about it, where human capital management really is how we've been talking about it more in the last few years.
Okay.
So,
Oh, well.
but really, it is about your people practices, and that's helping enable those people practices.
Yeah, and there were great examples. I mean, the caddy thing you were just talking about, and the company, I think it was not Roche, but the other one. Yeah, talking about 170 onboarding practices down to one.
Right,
Yeah. I mean, how it's incredible how inefficient people have been in the past,
Yes.
and how technology, when used correctly, enables such streamlining and efficiency.
We were saying, I was just talking to a customer today about how exciting it is, an exciting time for HR practices, and exciting time for technology because there's so much changing, right? And so it's been fun to really gain products and create things because of all the change.
And I think the nice thing is we have all these enabling technologies, but it's what they actually enable, right? It's not technology for technology's sake, right? And I think that's the really cool thing.
I mean, I just hope that because financial crises are inevitable. We had one in 2008, and people say that we're going to have another one at some point.
I've been talking to my husband.
But I mean, I like to think, or, I hope that all this technology is going to enable companies to better manage whatever the bad times are, or the downtimes, in a way that with sort of granularity and surgical precision that they weren't able to do before because they didn't have these granular tools at their disposal. And I'm sure people will still be, laid off or whatever it might be, but it gives me hope for humanity, whereas for some people they think of only dystopia, but I don't like to think about that.
I like the hope. I like that.
Exactly.
And I want to know more about the skills cloud.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And actually, what a true value of the skills clouds. And in the first step, you have partner with LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn, YouTube, and also the Have it.
Oh, you mean the content cloud for the video media with our partnerships with third-party content?
So what's next? I mean, the skills clouds and the content.
Okay, because there are two different things. So the one is being able to have all different kinds of video content for learning. And the other one is really about a skills ontology, a common skills language, so that you can use it underneath all those applications of machine learning and have a common way
And
to
those
discuss.
skills are related to, working. Are there any possible to have skills just like hobbies, playing tennis, something like that, playing golf?
Yes, and those can connect to different types of learning, to get those skills and learn those skills. Absolutely. Skills is universal.
So once you get this large amount of skill sets, the data of these skill sets, what's the next?
Well, they never stop changing, right? That's the thing about skills, is that they're constantly evolving. New ones are emerging, and other ones are becoming obsolete. And so that's the difficulty, is customers used to have to maintain that, and that's a nightmare to maintain all those skills. And then you have to translate it, because what someone writes as a skill on their resume may be different than what you have in your job description, and how do you match that and reconcile it? So the Skills Cloud provides that language that can connect that and make it easy, and then it continues to evolve and keep it current and living. And so it's revolutionary in that sense.
And I was wondering if just two employees from different background, but once they have same skills, maybe same hobbies, would Workday be another kind of social platform? I mean, just like Facebook and something like that.
So it's not, the way we're looking at it, it's not so much a social platform, but if you think about a marketplace for talent, right, as an external marketplace ultimately, right?
And for the enterprise.
And for the enterprise, yes.
So when you're looking for different team members, I could see in the app you could do a search and you could find these different people. But you're just talking about an external marketplace. I mean, is that internal into the company, or are you going to have this marketplace dipping into LinkedIn so that you can see, well, there's some guy or girl, and they're working for XYZ company, but we want to offer them a job because we think they're perfect for our team, or is it really meant to be used so that you can, reuse resources that are already in your company and say, move that person off that project onto this one?
We have an internal marketplace, which is what I talked about in the keynote today. And so people can stay in their jobs, and you can grow their skills and their capabilities through opportunities.
Yeah, which is a way of keeping your staff happy and giving them growth opportunities within and not lose them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we also are planning, once that's established, to extend that to an external marketplace for freelancers, independent consultants, contractors, and then some of our customers were asking for private, if you will, clouds of talent that they can pull in. And so we want to provide the capability for our customers to be able to do that. And of course, skills is going to be that key language across all.
And will that be focused mainly on the enterprise, which is your customer base, or because there's also the gig economy with freelancer and Airtasker, but that's kind of more down the lower end of the scale as opposed to.
Yeah,
But they still serve the enterprise,
Yeah.
right?
And there's a mix.
So it's making sure that you're not
missing out
that
on.
you're totally that you're optimizing all kinds of talent.
So you ultimately be a competitor to those guys, or you'll work with them, or you don't know yet?
we're going to have our own marketplace that then they can be part of, and our customers can do that. So our real vision with workforce planning, what we have, is to be able to financially look and say, do you build talent internally? Because these skills are really valuable and they're part of your long-term vision and how you're going to develop the company. Do you borrow talent on a temporary basis, which would be your gigs or your freelancers or contractors, because it's not a skill that you currently have in your customer base, and so you need to acquire it because it's immediate, or it's a skill that you need on a temporary basis, or do you go and buy that talent? And to be able to kind of look at all those scenarios and then have the ability to execute on all those scenarios with Workday through the different talent marketplaces.
Well, so
Regarding the ontology that you have, okay, so you're going to set up a universal kind of definition of what the skills are. But aren't you like creating a fork in the road? You're creating a universe of definitions for Workday customers, but there's the bigger universe out there. So how do you reconcile the broader world against what you're doing? And won't that ultimately be confusing?
Well, so if you think about it, you know, our customers are across so many different industries. You know, they are representative of, you know, and geographies, etc. So they are representative of a larger.
Okay, so do you plan to share your knowledge with do you think that industry-wide there should be a standard definition of these skills? And do you have a path for making that happen apart from Workday?
Yeah, but you'll open source the definitions or something.
So today that would be within Workday and our Workday customers.
Right.
You know, and obviously the 31 million.
But what good is that if you don't? What good is that?
Well, it's great for our customers.
For your customers, but what are your customers? Are pulling in information from job ads, from their recruiting databases, from their social media tools? I mean, they're drawing in information globally.
Yeah, and when we bring their information in, that becomes part of our skills cloud, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's constantly growing as
learning and
people
growing.
apply for jobs, as people, you know, in the different, you know, companies that we have. So does it cover the whole world? No, but it certainly does cover a good
And through
representation.
the Workday Cloud platform, it'll be opened and others can also
All right, it's
use the
time
skills
for
cloud
the
to contribute to the
executives to
skills cloud.
move
So right now
tables.
it's within our community, but our goal is to open it up.
Bob, you need to stop your questioning.
Certainly, Airtasker and Freelancer.com started at zero, so there's an opportunity to grow. You know, I mean, it's a very lucrative business for those guys. There's no reason this could be very lucrative for you too. So,
And we see also a big market too, like in the hourly employees, which is a huge part of the market.
contractors, huh?
Yeah, right, absolutely.
That's only available in English, right? The Skills Cloud.
Right now, but we have plans and we're already working on translating it into
We're working on using machine learning, obviously, for translation.
Okay.
All right, we're moving.
So,
Thank you.
we're all going to move tables, Barbry.
Thank you.
No,
We get to sit.
It was easier for the executives to do than it is for us.